Hi, I'm Yulia, and this is the News Brief, the last one in 2024. Here we discuss the most relevant news stories twice a week, and then we discuss them together in the comments, so you don't have to suffer alone, and I don't have to suffer alone. And as per usual, please leave your questions, suggestions, and constructive criticism because it's very important, especially coming into the new year, where this segment is going to be changing plenty. Anyways, today we're going to be talking about Russia, a little bit about the United States, and all the positive news that happened on the last day of 2024 in Ukraine. Let's go. This morning started for me personally not very nice. I did oversleep an air raid and apparently a couple of air defense work explosions. My parents called me in frenzy, yelling at me that I wasn't picking up the phone when a massive missile attack was happening in Kyiv. I mean, it wasn't that massive, right? Because I didn't hear it. But for the rest of Ukraine, this morning started a lot better than mine because Zelensky announced that 189 Ukrainians were freed from Russian captivity. He called it very good news. The group includes defenders of Azovstal, Mariupol, the Chernobyl nuclear power plant, and Zmyiny Island. Among them are soldiers, sergeants, officers, National Guardsmen, including Azov members. I actually asked a friend of mine who served there, and there are 3 Azov members that were exchanged. The reason why this deserves special attention is because Azov servicemen usually aren't exchanged, and if they are, it's 1 or 2 or 3 people once in a blue moon. So this is very big. Border guards, territorial defense forces, Navy personnel, armed forces members, and 2 civilians captured in Mariupol. Each of them has loved ones waiting at home. It's a joy to have brought them back. We continue working to free every Ukrainian in captivity. No one is forgotten, Zelensky said. Meanwhile, Russia's Ministry of Defense reported the return of 150 Russian prisoners from Ukraine. Zelensky also shared photos of emotional moments as released defenders reunite with their families. He shared heartfelt photos capturing the reunion of Ukrainian defenders freed from Russian captivity with their loved ones, and some of them have been there for over 2 years, coming up on 3. And I mean, hey, tonight actually is New Year's, and it's, I guess it's the best gift you can receive is to finally return home. Azovstal defender Artur Neverchuk returns home after 884 days in Russian captivity. Ukraine welcomed home Azovstal defender Artur Neverchuk in Zdolbuniev after 884 days of captivity. Over 2 years, he endured imprisonment in 8 Russian colonies. On his birthday, he was sentenced to life imprisonment by the occupiers. Before his release in October, Neverchuk was held in the notorious Black Dolphin colony, a high-security facility for life prisoners in Russia's Orenburg region. It's actually crazy that they would put him there with Russian regular prisoners. I guess a lot of Russian colonies right now are empty because, well, Russia recruits prisoners to fight on the front lines. And if you're interested in just how bad that facility was before Ukrainian POWs started being transferred there, there is actually a documentary on YouTube. I don't remember who made it, but it's literally called The Black Dolphin Prison in Russia or something along those lines, and it will show you the conditions in which Russian prisoners lived there. And you need to understand that Ukrainians are treated far worse than the Russians are in there. Meanwhile, Ukrainian Foreign Minister meets Syrian leader Ahmed al-Shara in Damascus. Ukrainian Foreign Minister Andriy Sybiha held talks with Syria's new leader in Damascus, according to Reuters. Details of the meeting will be disclosed as the week progresses. However, we do know that Ukraine is open to restoring diplomatic ties with Syria. During a visit to Damascus, Foreign Minister Sybiha announced Ukraine's readiness to restore diplomatic relations with Syria. He expressed hope that Syria's new leadership will respect Ukraine's territorial integrity. And I mean, it is quite a big bond because Syria has suffered a lot from Russia, and so did and is Ukraine. And I think that this is a very good partnership that is going to be prospering because, of course, Syria is very, very happy to be free from Assad, who was backed by Russia for decades. And Ukraine has already transported grain to Syria and has offered a lot of help. And it does look like our diplomatic and just generally interhuman relationship is being built steadily. Howard Buffett visits Ukraine's southern border to discuss cooperation. American businessman and philanthropist Howard Buffett visited Ukraine's southern border, according to the State Border Guard Service of Ukraine. Buffett reviewed border protection measures and infrastructure development, focusing on the Ukrainian-Moldovan border. He also discussed opportunities for further cooperation to enhance border service efficiency. Recognized for his support of Ukraine, Buffett has been honored with the Order of Prince Yaroslav the Wise, the National Legend of Ukraine Award, and the Golden Heart distinction. Howard Buffett is the son of Warren Buffett, and he has been supporting Ukraine immensely since the beginning of the full-scale invasion. He has donated millions of his personal assets to help Ukraine in various humanitarian needs. And it's great that he's at the southern border trying to figure out the situation with Moldova, or rather Transnistria, which has been occupied by Russia for the past 30 plus years. It's amazing to see friends like that, and it's amazing to see people care for Ukraine so much when they have virtually no ties here. And, well, I mean, it wouldn't be the news brief if we did not move on to Russia and what's happening there. And boy, is there a lot, because while things in Ukraine are looking positive on the last day of 2024, except for probably the fact that we are all expecting a massive missile strike on the 1st, but things in Russia are not looking so positive. As per usual, it's conniving and cruel and awful. Lavrov said that Russia may abandon missile deployment moratorium. Surprise, surprise. Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov announced that Russia's moratorium on deploying short and medium-range missiles is likely to be abandoned. In a conversation with RIA Novosti, Lavrov accused the United States of forcing Russia into this decision, claiming, "The United States has brazenly ignored warnings from Russia and China and is actively deploying weapons of this class in various regions worldwide." I mean, you have literally been using weapons of this class on Ukraine every single day for the past 3 years. So if anyone abandoned anything or is forcing anyone to do anything, it's Russia's forcing the rest of the world to arm Ukraine to be able to defend ourselves. But you know what? Go off. Experts note that airlines may avoid Russian airspace over security concerns. Yeah, I mean, I wonder what those could be. Right, like Russia recently took down a civilian airplane of Azerbaijani Airlines over Grozny and then forced it to land in Kazakhstan, and that airplane crashed and 38 people died, including 2 pilots. Russia literally took it down with a surface-to-air missile, and their initial excuse was that actually those were birds. Then it was the weather. Then they said that it was foggy and there were Ukrainian drones in the sky, so it's Ukraine to blame, and a plethora of other excuses, and they still have not admitted that they literally shot down a civilian airplane. But the point is that, they said there were drones in the air. So if there are drones in the air, then you should probably close air traffic. But Russia doesn't do that because they don't care about lives, they care about profit and business. And provided that Russia is at war with Ukraine, a country it invaded, obviously Ukraine fights back and destroys Russia's warehouses, and their civilian airports actually are mixed use with military airports, which is already incredibly dangerous. So yeah, all countries should be avoiding Russia's airspace, at least because you cannot expect that Russia will be putting safety and security first, right? Well, if they did, they would just close their airspace in general, but oh well. Gunduz Mamadov, an expert in national and international criminal law, stated that if Russia does not close its airspace under international pressure, airlines might independently avoid it based on security risks. He added that if Azerbaijan Airlines ceases flights to Russia, it could set up a precedent for other airlines to follow. And I think they will do that also because you might not have seen it, but I will play this clip right now. And of course, this clip was shot and done way before they shut down the airplane, but they still released it on the same day that the airplane was shut down. And the end of this clip says, "We don't need anything foreign in our skies."
Presents! Happy New Year! Holy Все?
Все. Цель уничтожена.
Правильно. Не нужно нам ничего иностранного в нашем небе. С Новым годом!
И тебя, дед. Всех с Новым годом.
And it's just in such bad taste and with such bad tone. It's disgusting. And I really, really wish that they didn't do that, but they did. And here is your excursus into Russian propaganda and how it's filmed and how it works. Russians love this clip. They think it's brilliant and it's funny and it's clever. Yeah. Lavrov also said that Russia will not join Summit on Peace. Another surprise, surprise. Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov announced that Russia will not participate in the upcoming Summit on Peace, even if formally invited. In October, preparatory meetings for the Second Peace Summit were held. We understand that the organizers aim to present Russia with some form of ultimatum. I have stated repeatedly that Russia will not attend this event, Lavrov explained. I mean, Russia can give everybody some kind of ultimatums all the time for 2.5 years while its economy is being destroyed and it is really not making a lot of progress on the battlefield. But if Russia is given an ultimatum, of course it's a no, 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 because imperial egos. Anyways, I mean, I personally don't think Russia should be present at any peace summits because I think they should just be completely destroyed militarily and then given an ultimatum, not participate in a peace summit. But you know. It's not up to me. Russia planned attacks on infrastructure in Japan and South Korea, according to Financial Times. Leaked Russian military documents from 2013 to 2014 reveal plans to target 160 civilian and military sites in Japan and South Korea, according to the Financial Times. Potential targets in Japan included the Kanmon Tunnel and nuclear facilities in Tokai, while South Korea's key targets were bridges, the Pohang steel mill and chemical plants in Busan. The plans detailed resources, photographs, and probability assessments such as 85% chance of success for KH-101 missile strikes, though the missiles have shown reduced effectiveness against advanced air defense. One document described a mission by 2 Tu-95 bombers that flew for 17 hours over Japan and South Korea on February 24, 2014, testing in air defense and prompting 18 interceptions involving 39 aircraft. These documents used to train officers at the Combined Arms Academy are still considered relevant to Russia's military strategy amid ongoing tensions in the region. I mean, I don't want to say I told you so on the last day of the year, but I told you so. Russia is not only aiming on attacking Ukraine, Russia is also developing plans on attacking other countries. And it doesn't matter if they're capable of doing it. What matters is that the ambition is there. Meanwhile, on the other side of the Atlantic, the US has lost one of its most beloved leaders. Jimmy Carter, former US president and Nobel laureate, died at 100 years old. Jimmy Carter, the 39th president of the United States and Nobel Peace Prize winner, has passed away at 100. Carter, the oldest U.S. president in history, chose to spend his final days at home under hospice care following years of health challenges, including melanoma that has spread to his liver and brain. Serving as president from 1977 to 1981, Carter later earned the Nobel Peace Prize in 2002 for his humanitarian efforts. Before his presidency, he was Georgia's governor from 1971 to 1975 and was a prominent member of the Democratic Party. He also put Habitat for Humanity on the map because he really, truly did help them a lot, and he was just apparently a fantastic human being, and everybody loved him. He also installed solar panels and invested into solar energy in the White House, only for it to be torn down by Reagan a couple of years later, but he was really at the forefront of innovation and humanity and kindness, and it's a really, really big loss. But hey, he lived a whole century, and that century was filled with joy for everybody around him, because truly, I don't know him personally, but looking at everything that one can read about him on the internet and, hear about him while he was alive, he was a remarkable person. Well, next up is also not great news. NATO officials warn of rising threats from Russian hybrid attacks. James Apatherai, NATO's Deputy Assistant Secretary General for Policy Affairs on Innovation and Cyber Technologies, warned of the growing risks posed by the Russian hybrid warfare, including sabotage and arson, in an interview with Sky News. Apatherai emphasized the need for NATO members to agree on what level of gray zone activity, unconventional attacks below the threshold of traditional warfare, could trigger a collective allied response, including military force. He heightened the alarming rise in Russian hybrid actions, such as cutting undersea cables, sabotaging buildings, and planting incendiary devices in aircraft cargo since Russia's invasion in Ukraine. According to Apatherai, NATO members have thwarted numerous plots, though dozens have succeeded, with more than 100 known incidents. He expressed concern that a major hybrid attack could result in significant casualties or economic damage, potentially crossing the threshold for invoking NATO's Article 5 Collective Defense Clause. What really worries me is that one of these attacks will break out on a large scale. We don't want to be unprepared for what comes next. So I agree with him, and I think that for 2025 and New Year to come, one of the things that we should look forward to is really defining what warfare means in this day and age, because Russia has done a lot of things that are not okay, and that should trigger a response from allies. Russia is meddling in elections worldwide. Yeah, sure, these are not tanks in your cities, but these are Russian politicians that Russia sponsored being put in your government making decisions for you. Russia has done so many sabotage operations. Russia has crossed so many lines. And at this point, yeah, just because Russia hasn't shot a missile onto Europe or the United States does not mean that it doesn't need a strict and a telling response. And I think that in 2025, one of the things that we really, really need to do for world security, safety, and prosperity is to define what we consider to be crossing our red lines. Not Russia's red lines, our red lines. And with that, that's all I have for you for today. This is the last day of the year. You're going to be seeing it tomorrow, which is going to be January 1st. So I do want to say Happy New Year, and I hope this year is going to be a lot better for all of us. I mean, hey, this is kind of silly, but there are all of these videos going around on TikTok basically for predictions for the next year, and a lot of them are like, this is going to be the luckiest year yet. And you know what? I'm going to manifest that, because after the past 4 years, I feel like it's just been one constant exhausting cycle. It's like, starting with 2020, everything just really hit the fan. So hopefully 2025, the new half decade, an odd number, is going to be different from the rest of the group. So Happy New Year. I hope that you've had a great celebration with your family, and I will see you next time in a summary of 2024 and a prediction for what 2025 might look like. As per usual, please like this video, send it to a friend. Also, leave a comment, and if you enjoy these videos and want to see my face more often, then please subscribe to this channel and also turn on all of your notifications. And I will see you next time. Happy New Year!